Welcome to this week's edition of Flashback Friday, your opportunity to get some good review by listening to episodes from the past that Jason has handpicked to help you today in the present and propel you into the future. Enjoy.
This show is produced by the Hartman Media Company. For more information and links to all our great podcasts, visit hartmanmedia.com.
Speakers, publishers, consultants, coaches, and info marketers unite. The Speaking of Wealth Show is your roadmap to success and significance. Learn the latest tools, technologies, and tactics to get more bookings, sell more products, and attract more clients. If you're looking to increase your direct response sales, create a big-time personal brand, and become the go-to guru, the Speaking of Wealth Show is for you. Here's your host, Jason Hartman.
It's my pleasure to welcome Joseph Bushnell to the show. He is an expert on funnel building and online marketing, and today we're going to talk about some of the big missed opportunities that many marketers are making and how they can exploit them and take advantage of them. We're going to compare and contrast some different systems and software as a service out there that's available to marketers, probably some stuff you've all heard of, and what Joey likes best and why. And it's just great to have him here. Joey, welcome. How you doing?
Jason, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Good. So if people have a traffic problem, a conversion problem, a profit problem, a knowledge problem, or an action problem, you can help them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's I guess the five key areas where I consult with people, Jason, and help them if they're not making money for some reason. It's bound to be in one of those five areas.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, give our listeners a sense of geography, and you obviously have an accent. Where are you located?
I'm located just outside of London, UK. The place near Guildford. So that's probably no one knows where that is, Jason, but it's just southwest of London.
So how do you solve these problems, Joey?
Well, usually when someone comes to me, Jason, we get on a call and first of all, just discuss everything about where the business is at this point in time. And like I said, I go through these five areas and just a quick rundown of that. It could be a traffic problem. They're not getting enough leads. They're not getting enough hits on their website or on their landing pages. So that is often a key issue. Even more commonly, a key issue is conversion. So people are often have traffic, but it's not converting. And if your traffic isn't converting, then you're losing money and you're wasting time. So that's really a big one. Is you've got to make sure that if you're driving if you're driving traffic and if you're getting leads, that people are coming out the other end as paying customers. Another key area is the lifetime value of customers. Now, this isn't a particularly huge problem, Jason, necessarily, but it is something I like to look at anyway, because sometimes it is. And what I mean by that is how much is each customer worth to you, and do you have a way of increasing that? Can you offer them other products? Can you offer them products at higher prices? That kind of thing. And again, a lot of business owners haven't necessarily thought about this, so that's an area as well. Sometimes it's knowledge. Sometimes they literally don't know what to do, and if someone doesn't know what to do, then they need to get the training. They need to get a mentor or whatever it is to be able to know what the next steps are. And sometimes it's an action problem, Jason. Sometimes people are bottlenecked within their own business. They've got so many things to do, not enough time to do it. And the key to this is delegation. It's getting help, basically, getting other hands on deck to help you out in your business and delegate the work that you don't need to be doing. Now, with a small business, sometimes that can be difficult. Scaling a business can be one of the problems that happens during that period. So it's if someone isn't currently outsourcing or doesn't have employees, then that's something that I would help with as well. So they're the five areas that if someone isn't making money when they first come to me, that's what I would look at, and based on that, what we find in those five key areas, we will make some decisions. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
Fantastic. Well, Joey, everybody's talking about funnels. I mean, every internet marketing conference I go to, every podcast I listen to, it's, funnel this, funnel that. I mean, it's got to be the most overused word in the marketer's lexicon is the funnel. But, maybe there's good reason for it. Funnels work, right? So there are different funnel building softwares out there. There are many of them. I'll just mention ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson's product, LeadPages, of course, OptimizePress. Tell us your thoughts on these different platforms.
Sure. Jason, you're right in what you said. It's the buzzword of 2014 and 2015, but for good reason. It's because you really need a marketing funnel to be able to convert well. Most people aren't going to buy the first time that they come to your website. They need to see a little bit more than that. And generally, what you can do with a marketing funnel is it's almost like a sales letter, but cut up into smaller chunks that people can digest and get educated about how you can help them, and then make a buying decision once they've got to know you and trust you a little bit. So that's the reason for having a funnel, and a lot of businesses don't have this in place. So that's why you want to have that in place. So to answer your question about the three tools that you mentioned there, I actually like all three of them, but for different reasons. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they're one of the three is superior to the other. They just have different uses. OptimizePress is good for creating entire websites, Jason. So you could have OptimizePress as the theme for your entire website, and you can have a blog, and you can have some opt-in pages and that kind of thing. So OptimizePress is good for an entire site, if that makes sense.
Joey, the other one I want to actually ask you about, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or not, but it's the Rainmaker platform. I had the copy blogger people on the show before. That seems pretty interesting, like this full solution kind of concept. In fact, it's funny, even to say that, because for my real estate investment company, our tagline is the complete solution for real estate investors. And people love it when you can just have kind of a complete turnkey solution that does everything. And I think that's what the Rainmaker people are attempting to do. I'm not sure if they've been successful at it or not. Is that really a good comparison with OptimizePress, if you're familiar with it? And feel free to mention any other products and services too. I only started it with those three, but
sure. Well, unfortunately, Jason, I don't know enough about the Rainmaker platform. I believe what you said is right, that it is comparable, but I don't know. I don't know for sure, so I wouldn't like to make a comparison there. But really, between ClickFunnels, OptimizePress, and LeadPages, they're pretty much what I've always used, and like I said, for different reasons, different times, different reasons. So OptimizePress is good for a whole site. LeadPages is great for individual pages. So if you want to, if you're setting up a webinar, Jason, then you can set up a webinar registration page with a thank you page, and get people into your funnel that way. If you want to give people a free report, you can. There's lots of different templates there where you can do that. If you want to give people a video, if you want to get people to come watch listen to your podcast, and actually they've got a podcast page which helps people to leave reviews on your podcast. So they've got all these different types of pages, but they're all pretty much all based around one thing, and that's getting an opt-in or a sale. So they have all these custom built templates, and that's what LeadPages is good for. So it's not good for a whole website. You wouldn't want your whole your entire website to be made out of LeadPages. They don't really kind of connect up to each other in that way. It's not good for blogging or anything like that.
It's kind of surprising that LeadPages hasn't caught on to that. It seems like they'd have to do a relatively minor, given all the different pages they have now, amount of work to really create a true funnel solution.
I think it might be on the way. I don't know for sure, but
I would guess that it is.
I would guess that it is, because the next one which we're going to be talking about is ClickFunnels. And what they have done with ClickFunnels is kind of taken it to the next level, where they have the templates, but they also have more than that. It's got an autoresponder built in. But it also, you don't have to use that one. You can use Infusionsoft or whatever it is that you're using, Aweber or whatever it might be. But it's also got an automated webinar platform in it as well, and it's got a lot of different features added in. And the good thing about ClickFunnels is it's very point and click simple, Jason. You can create an entire funnel, and it all is lined up, and it's in a sequence, and it's all ready to go. Whereas with LeadPages, there's a little bit more to do than that. You have to wire certain things up yourself. So I think that, but having said that, I love LeadPages still. I've used them for a long time. I've used them longer than I've used ClickFunnels. So I think that they will probably take take note of what ClickFunnels are doing, and would come with some new innovation, I would hope and expect, over the next few months.
OptimizePress versus ClickFunnels, I think that's really the main discussion here, because LeadPages is in a slightly different category. What do you think about those two? And you must have one that's a favorite. Maybe you don't want to tell us, I don't know. But what do you use most?
For funnels, Jason, I would use ClickFunnels because it has everything that you need there ready to go. But like I said, for just a website with other features on, like a blog, for example, then OptimizePress. It's because it's a theme as well as other things. So, but yeah, if we're talking specifically funnels, then I think ClickFunnels at this point in time is pretty hard to beat.
In terms of best funnel building practices, take us through some of those. I mean, copywriting, setting up that sequence, deciding on the offers, Joey. There's a lot to do here. And that's why people don't do it themselves, right? They hire consultants.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, first thing is at the front end of the funnel, Jason, you've got what they call a lead magnet. And that's where you are offering something of incredible value to get people to sign up. That's to get the lead in the first place. So what you're offering needs to be just really, really good. And the difficulty is nowadays is if you rewind back a couple of years ago, Jason, it was quite easy to get opt-ins. People would just willy-nilly hand over their email address, and they wouldn't be too bothered about it. Times have changed. It's moved on a bit now. It's a bit more sophisticated. We've all got a bit more used to the internet and how it works, and we know what to expect now. So people don't just hand their email over for no reason. It's got to be a really compelling reason. So whatever it is, whatever market you're in, just try to have something that really stands out and is unique. If it's something that's Me Too and they've seen it dozens of times before, you're not going to get that opt-in. So that's something you really want to have a think about is what can you give away as a lead magnet that's incredibly valuable to your market that they haven't seen before. That's really the key.
Hasn't everybody seen everything by now?
Yeah, well, exactly. That's where the creativity comes in, Jason. Is knowing that's going to be different for every market, and what they've seen before and what they haven't seen before. That's the big question. But it's what you've got to somehow figure out. One way to do that as well is obviously market research. A lot of people don't do market research, but it's really, really key, because when you do market research, you will find out what they want, what your customers and your prospects really, truly are wanting. So if you can do some market research and ask people what do they really want to know, what's really their biggest problem right now, and how could you help with that, they'll tell you, and that's a good place to start building a lead magnet. So that also moves into the next part of the funnel as well, Jason. You mentioned copywriting. And when I first started marketing, I thought copywriting was all about clever words and being good with words and that kind of thing. But actually, copywriting is more about understanding who you're writing to. And again, that's where market research comes in. So in the emails that follow, when someone is in your funnel, you want to be writing to them about the things they care about, the things that matter to them, and is addressing their pain point, I guess, their problem of some kind that they have that you have a solution for. So that's what copywriting is about. It's really about understanding your market and then communicating how you can help. So that's what you would do in the follow-up emails. And it doesn't have to just be emails. It can be a variety of content. It could be videos. It could be webinars or Google Hangouts. Lots of people love to do Google Hangouts now. But whatever it is that you do, just make sure that it's all based around fixing people's problems.
Yeah, definitely around fixing people's problems. Any thoughts on where to get good copywriters or how to become good at it ourselves?
I've got some resources myself, Jason. I've got a big list of the best copywriters and best copywriting resources that I've been able to find, and that's on my blog. We'll probably include a link to that or something. It's called the 182 greatest copywriters or something along those lines. It's quite a while since I wrote it, about 2 years ago.
Tell people where they can find that, Joey.
Yeah, so it's I'd have to double check it because I'm on the spot. But if it's on my website, josephbushnell.com, and it's something along the lines of 182 greatest copywriters of the internet age, or something along those lines.
Fantastic. That's quite a list. Did you compile that through trial and terror?
Well, it took me about a month. It took me about 6 weeks to research it properly, it was, if I rewind back before that, I've got a podcast as well, Jason, and I interviewed a lot of top copywriters. So over the years, I've accrued a lot of relationships with the best copywriters in the world, and others as well that I wanted to interview, but for whatever reason haven't interviewed. So I had a big list already, but then I went out and researched each and every single person, went through all their websites, their blogs, and everything. And then what I've done is put them into a big list, and I pointed people in the direction of their courses, their blogs, their free reports, or whatever it is that they might have, so that people can go and find it. So it's a really big list. It got a lot of attention at the time. It's probably one of my most successful blog posts that I've ever done.
Do you segment that at all by cost or price? What's the best way to pay a copywriter? I've just found it to be very frustrating because it's just all over the board, Joey. I mean, I pay bloggers and writers per word. And it's really simple, or I'll pay bloggers a flat fee. But, when it gets into the area of copywriting, that's sort of a different genre. They charge much higher prices than writers, if you will, for direct response copy. And the prices are just all over the board,
Yeah, I mean, there's no direct answer to that, Jason, only that the really good ones can afford to charge that way, because what they sell isn't about being a good wordsmith. It's more about, well, what they're really selling is return on investment. So if you pay a copywriter $10,000, $20,000, but they write you a sales letter that brings you in £1 million in $1 million in the first year, then you've got a great return on investment. So some copywriters charge extremely high because they know that they can and they're in demand and people are referring them. And others that charge not so much, I would imagine, are probably newer to it. It's not that you can't find talented copywriters for that price, but you might have to kiss a few frogs before you find a print. So.
Right, as the saying goes. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Okay, good stuff. What else do you want people to know that I haven't asked or you just haven't had a chance to say yet, Joey?
I would say as much as you can in your funnel to include as much proof as you can. So if you can have include case studies about how you help someone, that's a really, really key piece of a funnel. And in any copywriting of any kind, is you want to show examples, you want to show proof, and that will help people to be able to make that buying decision that they feel that that you can indeed help them. So that's just a huge thing. And one thing that, especially when people are new, maybe they don't have those results yet, or they don't have those case studies. Maybe sometimes they never asked for a testimonial or a case study. But if you don't have that right now, make it your goal to get that. Even if that means that you help people for free. If you it's chicken and egg, right? You can't sell unless you've got proof, but you can't get proof unless you've sold to someone and have done something for them. So if that's an issue for you right now, do an exchange of some kind. Just say, hey, I'd love to help you. All I want in return is your case study, and let people know that I can use. Let other people know how I helped you, and I want to be able to use this in my marketing. And you'll find that people are very forthcoming. And I'm not saying to do that a lot. I'm not an advocate for working for free. I mean, I think as a general rule, that's a bad idea. But just for this one instance, just to get your proof, you can do it, and try and get at least 3 or 4 pieces of decent proof that you can put into your marketing funnel, and it will really, you'll get a lot of return on investment for doing that. So whatever it is that you do, however you help people, make sure you have some proof and put it into your funnel, and do that whatever it takes. Even if that's if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh well, I don't have that. That's well get it somehow, get it. And that will be a really key element of a funnel that works.
Yeah, Nick Unsworth says that pretty well. He talks about the anchor client concept and how he worked for Frank Kern for free doing his social media, just because he knew if he got Frank Kern as a client, that would be really beneficial to be able to say to other marketers, here's a big name guy that I got as my client and I helped him. That's an awesome testimonial, obviously, from someone as big with as big a name as that. But take us through, just before you go, Joey, can you just summarize the steps of the funnel again? I know you kind of alluded to it, but we got lost in conversation. I just wanted people to really get like the simple overview of the funnel has, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Sure. So step 1 is the lead magnet. Now, there's different funnels that you can have. There's I don't know if you've seen Ryan Dice's model, Jason, but he.
Oh, sure, yeah, I was just at Traffic and Conversion.
Yes,
yeah.
So you would have heard there. Now I don't particularly like this term, but they call it a tripwire. But that's a good. You don't have to have that, but what it does do, well, there's 2 things that does. Is it can pay for your traffic. So it's a self-liquidating offer. So let's say you have a fairly low-priced offer at the front end of your funnel. That can pay for you to run Facebook ads or Twitter ads or Google ads or whatever it is that you're running. So having that low-priced offer at the front end of your funnel can help to pay for your traffic, and then everything that you make, all the any money that you make from there on in your funnel is hopefully going to you, minus other expenses. But in theory, you get to sort of keep the rest. So that's one thing about a tripwire. The second thing is again, in theory, once someone has bought from you for the first time and it's been a successful transaction, they have enjoyed and consumed what you have given them, they will be much more likely to buy from you again in the future. And this is true. If you look at your own customer base, you'll see that you have repeat buyers. And once you have sold to someone once before, you don't have to sort of keep reselling them. They will come back to you because they know they can trust you and that you deliver. So it can help also to transition people from a prospect to actually a paying customer, even though they're only paying possibly a small amount of money. So that's an optional thing. I don't always build that into every funnel. Every funnel I take on is unique, and the strategy is different depending on what they have to sell. But that's one thing you can include. The next thing you would definitely want to include is a sequence of emails that nurtures your prospects. So at this point, let's say, Jason, that they didn't buy your tripwire. Then you're going to want to put them into an email sequence which builds trust, and then you will then give them your offer, your main offer that you wanted to sell to people the whole time, and then from there you've then got your upsell as well. Now again, I don't always have an upsell. It depends if the client has something ready to go or not. If they do, then we would always have the upsell as well. So once someone has bought your main offer, try to then sell them something else. But if they don't have an upsell ready to go, then we will develop, generally speaking, we'll develop something later on. So the steps of a funnel would be lead magnet. Optional, you can have a tripwire or self-liquidating offer. You have your main offer and you have your upsell. And between all of these steps, you would always have a sequence of emails which is taking people from one stage to the next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fantastic. Good stuff. Joey, give out your website again.
It's josephbushnell.com.
josephbushnell.com. Got a great video there on the front. So thank you for joining us today and giving us some good marketing insights. We really appreciate having you on.
Thank you, Jason. It's been a pleasure.
This show is produced by the Hartman Media Company, all rights reserved. For distribution or publication rights and media interviews, please visit www.hartmanmedia.com or email media@hartmanmedia.com. Nothing on this show should be considered specific personal or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and the host is acting on behalf of Platinum Properties Investor Network, Inc. exclusively.